everybody, my name is Tiffany. I am back with another Spotlight On video with Women Who Code DFW. This month's Spotlight On, July, is on Kim, which is this lovely lady sitting right next to me. So Kim, let's just dive right into it.
Sure.
How did you get started with web development or software engineering? Just the tech field.
Well, that actually started back in 1999 when I was 10 years old. You do the math. My brother was really interested in making websites, and he was making one for, like, I guess our church or something. And so I was kind of like, how does this work? And so he kind of tossed an HTML4 book at me and said, figure it out. It's with Notepad, and got on my computer and started making websites in 4th grade. So dad's an engineer. Electrical turned software. His dad was a programmer as well before computers had operating systems. He worked with the punch boards and everything. And so I come from a family, very vintage. We actually still have that at our house. So it's got his last punch on it, and I think 63 or something, I don't remember. But anyways, so I come from a family of engineers, and it just kind of happened.
Nice. Okay, cool. So you're also studying for a computer science degree.
Correct. So
tell us a little bit, like, how you decided to go on that journey and how it's going so far.
It's a long story.
From the short version.
2007 to 2012, I completed a bachelor's degree in fine arts and photography, and then was kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life when I grew up, and was considering going back to school for an MFA in like photography or visual arts, and decided that was just really boring. I didn't want to do that. Okay. So my brother sold a company in 2014 to Google and took me out to Mountain View and walked me around Google and Nest, and was just like, you know, there's a lack of women in this industry and you were really good at coding, so why did you stop? And reflecting back, it really had to do with a lot of fear of pursuing things like math and science and academia. And so I did consider going the boot camp route, and then Art Institute started having some issues with their accreditation and stuff like that. So I just decided that it would be a good idea to go back and get my actual computer science degree. Gotcha. So I started in 2015, and I'm still working on it. It's going to be a while. I'm not really worried about the time that it's going to take because I'm already in a role, which we'll talk about in a little bit, I'm sure.
For sure. So for those who don't know, like you just said, you've been around computers basically your whole life. Your family was into engineering. What was that gap? What were you doing between that gap between when you stopped coding and then started back again?
Mostly photography. I was actually a food photographer for D Magazine and a local PR company that did a lot of stuff for like hospitality, food, and things like that. So I was around a lot of food, getting to eat a lot of really good food. It was a good life. But I also knew that there was just something missing. And so going into a field that I was kind of afraid of at one point, and getting to conquer a lot of things that I didn't think that I could conquer has been very satisfying for me. So even like knocking out calculus and calculus-based physics and stuff like that, I made A's. So that was just not, it's not to brag, it's more so like I was able to accomplish that.
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
a big deal.
Yeah, because 17-year-old Kim would never believe that I even took those classes, let alone did so well in them. So it was a big feat for me.
That's awesome. Well, I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what you're doing now.
Well, now I am actually working not too far down the hall from you at FilmSupply. And FilmSupply is a agency that supplies clips to different filmmakers and different advertising agencies and, you know, I guess TV channels, and really anything that needs short clips that they don't want to shoot B-roll for, which takes a lot of time and effort and a film crew and all that jazz. So if somebody needs something specific, they can come to us and see if we already have it or if we can find somebody that has it. And so I'm working as a junior software engineer for FilmSupply.
Nice. So tell us briefly about what a potential day looks like for you.
Get up, get the dogs going, because we have 3. And then I usually, Monday and Tuesday, I come to work, and then the rest of the days I'm at home. And then usually it's just hey, work on these projects, and I knock them out. We do code review, which is really helpful. A lot of people don't like code review, but I think coming from a art perspective, like I'm used to critique, and that actually really helps me learn. So I look at that as more of an opportunity than like a criticism, you know. And we did that a lot in my photo classes and stuff like that, you know, like, oh, I think you could have done this a different way, or maybe this is what you were trying to communicate and you could have done it this way. I think it helps me just be more efficient at what I do. So then at the end of the day, go home and likely go to school if I have class, which during the summer kind of take off. But generally only taking about 2 classes a semester, so it's going to take a good probably half a decade to finish.
And
but
you're taking your time.
I'm taking my time. I'm making those grades, you know.
There you go. That's what it's about.
Right, exactly.
You're there to like learn and embrace everything. So
right.
do it. There you go.
It'll get done eventually. So
yeah, you know, what's the rush, right?
Yeah.
This stuff will still be there.
Yeah.
Different professors.
Yeah, very.
So tell us a little bit about how you came to be involved with Women Who Code.
So I am a extreme introvert, and I found Women Who Code on meetup.com. I think we all are to some degree. I found the group on meetup.com back in, I think it was like the end of 2017. And I kind of had to like convince myself to go because I was like, oh, I have to go be social, you know?
I want to do
and
this.
So I finally convinced myself to go in mid-February of 2018 and like just really haven't stopped going. I made friends with Claire and Carrie and like Johanna when she started the Fort Worth branch. She actually came out for the first time to the North Dallas one.
Yeah.
And so I got to meet her that day, and like she and I have been really good friends ever since. And then obviously you and a lot of other people I've just made some really good connections with, not only for career aspect, but also just on a personal level. Yes. I feel like I'm with my people. So
we love to hear that.
Yeah.
Every time everyone's like, I met my people. I'm like,
yes.
We won.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah. It's really awesome to just be involved in the community, and like even the Slack is so entertaining because everybody kind of gets you from the standpoint of just your sense of humor and the things you go through on a daily basis and things you experience. So.
Exactly. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
So what's one of your accomplishments today? So something that you're very proud of. What is it?
Let's see.
I got you.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think just overall I'm going to be continually really just happy with the fact that I'm like making progress in my degree, and because that's a kind of like an object in JavaScript. Like there's so many other parts to it, you know. I feel like it's made me grow as a person. I think it's also helped me see the world differently. You know, I approach everything kind of more in a mathematical sense, which is not completely required to be a programmer. I always make sure that I preface that, but I do think that it helps me think through problems a lot better, and that's in my job and in life and everything. So understanding things like how physics works and stuff like that, that was never something I really wanted to commit to prior to this. And now that I've learned it, I'm like, whoa, this is actually really cool. Like there's so much you can do with that. So yeah, I think school is just something that I'll continually be proud of, like getting through the courses and stuff, and then also just like working really hard to maintain those grades to prove to myself that, and anybody else who thinks they can't, you know. That's why they say, you know, you have to do 10,000 hours of something before you're good at it, or whatever the number is, something like that.
It's a whole bunch of time.
There's a lot of people, it's a lot of time. There's a lot of people that'll say, oh, I'm really bad at that, but they won't actually give it a shot. And I used to be one of those people, and I don't know why I took so much pride in being bad at math, but when I finally got into these courses and just really focused, I was able to prove myself wrong in that, and I just think that's a huge accomplishment. So
well, good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. So what's been one of the most challenging things about working here? We're at FilmSupply.
Yeah. Challenging things. Ooh, I don't even know that. I mean, anytime I approach a new problem, that's challenging. But as far as like, I don't really have anything. It's been just this is the place that the idea of the place has been where I've wanted to be for a long time. I used to work in a marketing department at a nonprofit, and it was very suffocating in some ways. And this place allows me to like really give it my all and kind of like show what I can do. And they're like, cool. And if there's something that needs to be adjusted because it's, you know, it's more efficient or something like that, cool. But they really don't stifle me, and they really encourage learning and growing. So I don't really have anything like this is where I've wanted to be for a long time. This is great.
Nothing code related that's got you stumped or anything.
If there is, I know that if I can accomplish things like calculus, I can get through it. So
you're like,
I will figure it out. I'm one that asks a lot of questions, so I'll figure it out eventually if it's Google or asking questions.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
People ask questions.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody around you knows the answer more than you do. Just ask questions.
Yeah.
There you go. Get it done faster.
Yeah.
So, wrapping this up, where do you see your future at? What do you see yourself doing?
That's
Staying in the tech field?
Yeah, definitely. The opportunity there is like so much more than it was in a very oversaturated market of photographers. With quotation marks surrounding. There's a lot of people that, you know, they'll get a camera and then all of a sudden they're only charging a certain amount, and I'm sure that happens in every field, but it was very oversaturated, so it was very hard to compete in that market. So I think tech, honestly, is something that I'll stay in. I know that it's a big field as well, and there's a lot of people, but there's a lot less females, as we all know. And the other thing is that every industry needs it. That's pretty awesome, because if I get tired of one industry, go look at another industry and find a job there. There's just a lot of opportunity also for just being able to work from home or remotely, which is great. I'm already experiencing a little bit of that, and I love it. I love being able to just kind of have the freedom to work from home if I want to. So yeah, I mean, that being said, it's definitely gonna be tech. I'm gonna finish that degree. If it's the last thing I do, it's gonna happen. And other than personal stuff, that's pretty much it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
We've been excited, and I say we as in the other directors, we've been very excited to see your growth and your progress ever since you joined Women Who Code. I mean, it's not all to do with us.
Yeah.
It's also your own ability. But it's just great to see somebody's progress throughout that whole time.
Well, I owe a lot of that to you guys, so.
I really appreciate it. So, thank you for being part of our community.
Yeah.
And being just awesome.
Yeah, you too.
Well, I'm okay. Thanks for joining us, guys. We will see you on the next Spotlight On. Bye.
Bye.